Howdy everybody, this is Doc from Thorofan coming to you with the name behind the race, and today I am on location in Pennsylvania at Pennsylvania Racehorse Rehoming and Rescue. It's actually a wonderful organization that does a lot for rehoming thoroughbreds that are off the track, as we say, and it's a very, very important part of the industry that everybody needs to support. But I'm also here for another reason, and that basically is because this week's race that I'm going to profile happens right here in Pennsylvania. It is the Lyphard Stakes happening at Penn National this Saturday during their great Penn Mile Card. I hope everybody who's in the area will be able to come out for it Saturday afternoon. But Lyphard, who was he? Why does he have a race named after him and all of that stuff? Well, we've got to take a little bit of a journey, starting in Pennsylvania where he was bred, and then going across the pond as we look at this week's name behind the race. Born in Pennsylvania in 1969, Lyphard was the son of the great stallion Northern Dancer. Bred by Mrs. J.O. Burgwin and foaled at her Barbary farm in Sewickley, Pennsylvania, he was purchased at the Keeneland Fall sales as a weanling and taken over to England. There he caught the eye of the renowned French trainer Lyphard and was purchased by Head for Madame Germaine Wertheimer, whose family's racing stable is still in operation today. Many will remember the colors of her family stable being worn by the brilliant filly Goldakova, trained by former jockey and son of Lyphard, Freddie Head, in her remarkable wins in the Breeders' Cup Mile in 2008, 2009, and 2010. Madame Wertheimer named Lyphard in honor of the great ballet dancer and choreographer Serge Lyphard. So why are the names not spelled the same? Well, she did it to avoid that whole pesky getting permission thing the jockey clubs require when naming a horse after a person. Lyphard, seen here on the left with Alain Wertheimer, the grandson of Germaine, trained Lyphard to a record of 6 wins and 12 starts over his 2- and 3-year-old seasons. Invading England for that country's famed Epsom Derby, he was considered by many to be a leading contender for the race, but as you can see here, bore out badly in what is known as Tottenham Corner and lost all chance after that.
Just about half a mile to go, and it's still Pentonfirth the leader from Meadowmint or Mindo, Manitoulin, Roberto, a paper cap running on the far side, Lyphard running very, very wide, almost into the stands on the far side, 3 furlongs to go.
What made him blow the turn like that? Well, Lyphard at the time was still what is known as a ridgeling, where one of his testicles had not descended properly. In this case, it was his left one, and this led trainer Head to believe it caused the colt, called a carbon copy of his sire, to suffer pain when running at full speed and turning to the left. Or as any guy would surely see it.
Ouch, town population, you bro!
Eventually, that troublesome testicle did descend properly, and Lyphard did go on to win many other important stakes races in France as a 3-year-old. He excelled at the races that were around a mile on turf, and at the end of his 3-year-old season was retired to stand stud in French at the Roi d'Étrêmes. In 1977, he was transferred back to the country of his birth and stood at stud for the remainder of his career at Gainesway Farm in Kentucky. As a stallion, he's considered one of the best of all time, and definitely one of the best of the 20th century, with almost 60% of his offspring winning at least one race, and he sired 115 stakes winners. Perhaps the pinnacle of his influence as a sire came in the year 1986, where 2 of his sons, the American grass champ Manila and the English great Dancing Brave, squared off in the Breeders' Cup turf. As you can see, it was victory for one and bitter disappointment for the other.
Manila moving through toward the inside. Dancing Brave poised for the stretch drive on the outside 4th. Darrara has dropped out of it as the field turns for home. Theatrical coming after Estropod. Theatrical and Estropod matching strides. Theatrical by ahead. Estropod game coming back toward the inside. Manila is 3rd, and Dancing Brave has been defeated, and they're coming to the wire, and it's Theatrical. Manila coming after him. Manila on the outside, and yes, Manila gets there in the final strides, and jubilant Jose Santos.
Lyphard finished out his stud career and was pensioned at Gainesway in 1996. He still went on to live a very long and happy life after that. How long did he live? Well, when he was euthanized because of the infirmaries of old age, he was 36 years and 31 days old, which is considered among the record keepers to be the 2nd oldest stallion ever in the records that we have available to us today. Although he left us a while ago, his influence on the breed will surely be felt for many generations to come. Well, there you go. So everybody, everything you wanted to know about the great horse Lyphard, and obviously probably made his impact a little bit more as a stallion as compared to, a good racehorse, at least in the States. He was known obviously over in Europe for winning some of those big races. That's about going to do it for this segment of the name behind the race. If you are in the PA area, I hope that you do check out Penn National's Penn Mile Day card. It really should be good. Grade 2 race, some of the top 3-year-old turfers in the country hopefully will be there for this race. So if you potentially have a race that you're curious of the history and the name behind, drop us a line here at Thorofan. I'll be happy to research it for you. You never know, might end up on a future segment. I'm Doc for Thorofan, and we will see you next time on the name behind the race. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about the wonderful things that PA Racehorse Rehoming, Rehabilitation, and Rescue does for the racing community, visit them at www.paracehorse.org. And if you're a passionate thoroughbred racing fan like the rest of us and you want to meet people just like you, why not check out Thorofan? You have tons of amazing things going on, a great newsletter, so join today. www.thorofan.org. Thorofan, giving the fans a voice.